welcome back to Just Code It. Today we're going to be taking a look at LangGraph looping logic. We're going to do two approaches to looping logic. I have both of the diagrams over here. The first one is just looping back on itself. We're going to add two numbers up into a total, and then again, we're going to loop to a different node. Then we're going to do add to decide, and then decide back to add. These are two different approaches to do the exact same thing. Essentially, we're just having this decide be a node instead of the edge right here being the decision edge instead of a node. Let's get started with our imports. Create this initial class for the graph. We're going to have numbers, a list of numbers, and a total where it's going to be that total we make our decision on. Next, create node functions. First, create the initial node, state and total set to 0, return an empty list for numbers. Set initial values. Add number, randomly pick a number, add two numbers, calculate total, return state. Finally, we're going to create a check continue method to check the state. If the total is less than 50, we'll return add and go to the add node, else it'll go to the end. Let's run that, our node functions. Next, we're going to build that graph. Graph equals state graph, give it our initial state, add our nodes, initial node, add node, and the edge between them. Finally, we're going to do conditional edges. The source is add, the decision edge is check continue, and the paths are either add or add to end. We specify the entry point, init node, and then compile the graph. Visualize the graph, do check for issues. We got it looping to the end. Next, let's run the graph, invoke it with numbers as an empty list and total as 0. And then the total goes up until 49, and then it reaches 60 and exits. Ending numbers and the total ending value. Number 2 is similar, but with the decision node added. Instead of deciding within the add node, we'll go to a different node for the decision point. Some people prefer this visually. I personally like it better. The downside is you need a dummy pass-through node. The two top nodes are the same, and the dummy pass-through node just adds and returns the state. From this node, we have that check continue, now operating on the decide node instead of the add node. This splits up logic with computation in the add node and logic in a separate node. I personally prefer this look, but it's up to you. We're going to build that graph. The difference is drawing two initial edges, and the conditional edge starting at decide. It's the same, and set the entry point and compile the graph. We're going to print it. There we have it. Finally, we're going to run it to make sure everything's working. And it looks like we have similar values, but not quite. Goes to 12, 13, 13, 6, and 5. And the total is 59. So that's it for looping logic. If we wanted to change this loop back on the init node, let's see if we can do that real quick. We'll have issues because it'll go forever. Add another node, then start. Do a pass through the node where it'll loop back on start. We need to add the start node to our graph. Then if we want to loop from the add node to another node, we can create another node called start and another pass-through node. Let's add the start node. Then the edge from start to add. We also need to go from init to start to add to decide. Finally, change add to start. It's going to loop back from add to start. Run that, and you can see how we're going to go from the decide node back up to start or to end. This is how you can loop to nodes that are farther away or not even related. I did it with two pass-through nodes. You can do logic in the start node if you want to, but for simplicity's sake, I'm just doing a pass-through. That is it for today's video on looping logic in LangChain. Up next, we're going to put everything together and create a LangChain terminal chatbot using what we've learned. After that, we'll move on to LangChain agents and learn how to use tooling to create our agents. If you have any questions, please comment down below. And I hope you enjoyed today's video. See you next time.